All right, as you get better at these and you start scoring, you got to kind of, smoke screen them a little bit. You got to camouflage them with some other attacks. So if a guy's worried about foot sweeping, sometimes just tapping it or touching it makes him feel like he defended it, and it'll set up your other one. So one I have a lot of success with is I mix both trips up, right? So it's kind of a combo trip. So all I'm gonna do is, especially if he's a big strong guy and we're square, I'm just gonna push this foot back, right? Same one we did from before, right? When I push that back, I want to take a little cheat step when my foot hits the ground. Now I'm loaded up, right? I'm back in my normal foot sweeping position, right? Coming under the arm, I'm looking, elbow high, blocking the leg, and snaking it down. All right. It's pretty funny. Like as soon as you get the first one, they're like, "Oh, all right, I'm all right." Then you go. It's like a delayed reaction that is very effective. From here, all I'm going to do is just lift it up and step. That split his hips apart, pull the pin. Now we're going to go elbow high, turn that steering wheel, and trip. Head up, hips down here. Big post if we need it. All right. Really trying to just pick his foot up off the mat and send it back. If I did that, I did my job, right? Just move his foot. Now I'm lined up to trip. All right? Here. Cover hips. Sometimes you just touch that foot and they wind up taking a knee. If they do, then you bounce and snap. Right? Especially big, heavy guys, pushing, pulling, driving, we're battling for position. Sometimes they react more than you think they would. We're just going to use our overhook to crumble him down in our body weight and take that shoulder, put it right behind his head again. So if he winds up falling, I'm going to snap him down, cover with this hand, this knee goes to this foot, and I'm right back to my front headlock. And an inside out motion. If he falls, I take front head. If he stays up, trip. Going into inside trips from a 50-50, over and under, right? Same thing, I gotta have offense. Inside trip is a real good option. It's a commitment with your leg, but you're attacking with your leg. All right, there's a couple ways guys go about hitting an inside trip. For me personally, I always go to my overhook side. I'm not saying going to your underhook side is wrong, but for me personally, I feel like anytime I trip to my underhook side, I wind up sliding down a little bit. And getting kind of extended. I feel like with my overhook side, I can really keep the weight on his leg, and I can really kind of twist his body and turn that steering wheel, what we were talking about before. So for me, I'm always, if I'm attacking inside, that inside leg, and I'm committing to that inside trip, I'm always going to this side. There's two ways you could go about getting into the side. If you're an explosive wrestler, you could kind of pull him into the trip. All right, as soon as he pulls into the trip, you're gonna go, right? So I can kind of like make him step and go. All right, very effective, very explosive inside trip. When we inside trip, we're gonna, different than I guess a judo inside trip or keiushi, right? I don't have a gi, so I have to commit. That's why it's a full commitment. If I had something I could hold on to, I could just reap the leg because I can pull him and break his balance that way. Because we don't have a gi, I have to commit with my whole body. So what I say is, I pretend like I have a piece of chalk in my toes, right? And I'm gonna just draw a circle around his foot, and I'm gonna try and put my head in the circle. At the same time, I'm gonna wing down, elbow down really hard on his underhook. And that should get kind of a twisting motion, right? I'm gonna explode into it. I'm gonna try and keep my toe should be inside his toe. I'm gonna try and move him. I'm gonna make a circle with my toe and put my head in the circle and drop my head down. So as I go, I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna draw a circle and put my head in the circle. And then from here, I want my elbows back, and I want to keep his legs split. Whatever side that he goes to, I want to lift that side up, right? Till I'm ready to Turk. If he goes back and forth, I switch sides. When I'm ready to Turk, I'm gonna step my knee in deep, step over, get my spur in, and look for the fall. All right, if we take him to his butt in a wrestling situation there, we should get the fall. All right, one more time. Explosive inside trip. I'm inside his legs, right? I'm gonna make him step with this foot. I'm gonna make a circle with my toe, put my head in the circle and clamp down. Elbows come back, pinch his knees to my body. When I'm ready, I drive my knee across, step over, put my spur in, and elevate. If I want to lose this arm, I just Superman, take it away from him. All right, the second inside trip, it's a little sneakier one. If you're not that explosive, it's a lot more effective for you. The first one, we're pulling him in and we're exploding. The next one, we're kind of sneaking him. We're pulling him off his set feet, and he's thinking about that foot that's moving, and we're taking the other one. So same position, still going to the overhook side, still need my foot inside, right? All I'm gonna do is pivot. They can think about this foot. That's it, that's all I need. Once he steps with this foot, I'm gonna attack the other one. Knees wide, same finish as before. Underhook side, just gonna step and move him and attack. After you're in on the trip, the mechanics are the same. Heavy down, pull that underhook. If you're just square, he'll be able to step out, right? So, if I don't have weight on, he can step out, right? I really want to make sure he can't step out. All my weight's hanging down. Make him think about this side. If sometimes you really want to set it up, have a little space before you pull so you make like a clapping or punching motion. Like most trips from a 50-50, you need to have another offensive hold in your repertoire in case he does step out. They're real athletic, you know, real strong guys. We need more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the road. That's the one that scores. Whoever has more bullets in their gun that way, right? So there's another reason why I like to keep this underhook on this side, because I have all my underhook offense out after. So I step, he steps out, attacking right to my underhook offense. Whatever your bread and butter underhook is. We're gonna go into from a 50-50 over and under situation, a whip, or using the opposite leg than your trip to attack. Very effective to set up your foot sweeps, or just to make him unstable and pull a pin out on him so he doesn't feel as comfortable or ready to attack me. So the first one we're gonna do, we're in the same position. Maybe I don't feel as comfortable as committing all the way for my inside trip. I'm just gonna step in knee deep, and I'm just gonna bump his leg real hard, right? All I'm gonna do right here is just I'm gonna take the outside of my knee and bump the inside of his knee. And you're going knee to knee, so really try and aim for the inside of his knee. All right, so the leg would be like this. That's it. If I can move the leg, I know it's gonna be an effective hold for me. My underhook is gonna pull real hard, and my overhook, you're gonna punch him right in between his shoulder blades or in the back of the neck wherever you wind up punching him. And this is gonna be a club that you stay on him all the way down till your underhook could go to his chin. So we're in here, we're pushing and we're battling, pull really hard, club and bump all at the same time. He winds up underneath me and I'm back to my front headlock. I compromise this position and whatever front headlock finish you guys glide. The most simple one, right? Feet in the side, put them on the mat. 50-50 position. Maybe neither one of us wants to take a risk, so I'm just gonna check his balance. This doesn't cost me anything. If I don't get it, I'm right back to where I was. Right, it's a total just I guess like a feint or a jab, just to see what he's working with balance-wise. Right? Pulling real hard, punching real hard, bumping real hard, all at one time. Winding up on his head and arm. This underhook, real important detail, all it's doing is coming from this underhook to his chin. Right? Just a little slide. Underhook to chin. Once we get it to his chin, then we're gonna get our shoulder into the back of his neck, elbow in tight. Don't leave it out because he can come underneath it, right? We don't want that. We did all that work. Want to really compromise his position and make him carry us. Right, stepping in, punching, pulling, bumping, going to my underhook, tight pinch. Once I'm here, I'm like a pit bull. He's got to carry me. He might be able to. He might be big and strong, but I'm going to make him carry all my weight down. All right, till I'm in my front headlock. All right, I'm just going to attach myself onto him and give him my body weight like a necklace. All right. Big pull, big bump, big punch, all at once. Wind up here, pull, go behind him. All right, next one. A lot of times this is the least risky of all of them. You're just testing it. Sometimes we step all the way in. And we just feel like when we bump, I don't even have to worry about the front headlock. I can take him all the way to his back. So I'm gonna step all the way in, like pocket deep. I'm gonna pull and bump. I'm gonna look real hard and spin him all the way to his back. Like a whipping motion. I'm pivoting, getting my butt cheek involved, pulling hard with this, looking where I want him to go. And this is just going to be a haymaker that whatever's left I can take out with. Once we spin him, I like to take my overhook, same way we did on the foot sweep, and snake his hip. So as I step in, I'm going to whip, and then I like to snake this down. Run up to that hip. All right, last one. We're reaping with this leg. Is I'm gonna get my lock or get at least a big a bite as I can. I'm gonna force my knee into the middle. I'm gonna pull him up onto it like a seat. All right. From here, I'm just gonna maybe his hips are way back and I'm having trouble. I'm just gonna get my hands locked. I'm gonna step in. Now I'm gonna pull him back up like a seat. I'm gonna lift my knee up to the ceiling. You could always go back down to your inside trip, back down to your foot sweep, but we're just going to continue attacking this direction. So as I lift, I pull his hips down, I put him on this chair, and I feel him come up. I'm not lifting him up, I'm rocking him back onto this leg. Now I'm going to hop. My toes are pointed this way. When I finish, my toes should be that way. I'm going to put his head on the mat and cover. Step in, I'm gonna lift, hop, and cover. Make sure we have a good base when we land. Right? Yeah. One more time, I'm here. Maybe his hips are far away from me. I'm having trouble getting to him. I'm just gonna lock up, step in, lift, hop, and cover. All right, same thing. We're in the over and under. We locked up. Maybe we're going for that one where we lift, and now we're not there, right? Anytime we're in an over and under, we got to have some offense. So to set up all my offense, I want to go towards my underhook. This is the advantage side, right? This is his advantage side. So all I'm going to do is lift, bring my shoulder up, bring my lock up, and re-cinch. And re-cinch until I can get behind him. From here, any mat return is going to work, but that's how I start any locked up offense from here. So as soon as my hands are locked, I'm going to be attacking this side, right? I'm going to lift and cinch. So without a partner, it would look like this. I'm going to pull my underhook up to my eyes. I'm going to take a big step. I'm going to come back up. Big step, come back up. Big step, come back up. And it's going to be kind of a tug of war of who can make it to their underhook first. So if he's locked up with me, right? We're both fighting towards the underhook, right? He's not going to let me take his back. If he lets me take his back, this is better for me, right? But he's not going to let me. He's competitive. We're both fighting for this position. Now, one thing I do have to worry about, especially younger guys, high school guys, is his headlock. Right? I want to make sure my butt's not out. I want to make sure I'm getting a good squat position, because I know headlock could be coming. If headlock's coming, my hips, if I'm bent over my waist, I'm going to get headlocked. Right? So I have to be ready for that. A good way to be ready for that is just making sure my upper body stays over my hips. I'm never doing this. Even if I feel like I could score, I'm holding discipline to that position. Right? So we're both working towards that angle. He's not going to let me get to his back. He's going to be circling away from it. So I'm going to head him off. All right? I want to get to this side. He's not letting me. He's circling away from it. Right? I know I can head him off. All right, I'm going to make a seat for my knee. I'm going to pinch my elbow down, and you could pinch your knees and just fall. All right, working this way. I'm going to step all the way across, pinch tight, elbow down, pinch. If I don't want to fall, I can just bring this knee up and pivot. Pull his hips to the mat. Alright, so working to this side, he's circling away from it. I'm gonna head him off with a big step, pinch. If I want to fall, I can fall. If I want to pop, I can pop. If you don't want to fall, just take this knee, put it in the inside. All we're gonna do is just swim it to the inside and big step back. More often than not, a good wrestler is not going to let you hold that leg in that pocket. They're going to step out. So that's when we need our offense. Right? So if I'm working to here and he feels this big step, he's going to step out. Well, there's two things we could do. If you're comfortable going belly to belly, we're just going to step all the way through. I'm going to take him behind me. This way. All right, very effective. International wrestling, even folk style, it's effective. If you hit it right, it's not that risky, because it's similar to like a drop side nag. I'm going underneath him. I'm forcing this shoulder to the mat behind me. So I work to the back, he's circling. All right, I take a big step, he steps out. I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna step in as far as I can to the camera. I wanna go all the way underneath him. Driving that shoulder to the mat. Once that shoulder hits the mat, I'm gonna run my feet, come up on top. A good skill, if kids are nervous, especially younger kids, you'd have them practice. Just start on your back. Right? Just step in, and partner's just gonna take me down nice and slow. So we wind up on our back, and now I'm gonna learn how to finish this technique. Elbow down, driving this shoulder behind me, lifting my hips up and running. All right, very, very effective hold. If you have a feel for it, not risky at all, right? He's circling, take a big step, he steps out, stepping in. All right, the other hold that we use from this a lot for those athletes that aren't as comfortable going underneath, it's more of a judo technique, kind of adapted for wrestling because we don't have the gi. I'm just gonna do an Uchimata. Right, as I lift and circle and he steps, I take that big step and he steps out. My body's in the exact spot to Uchimata. I just have to take a big back step. Right here. Now, I don't want to throw like in judo because he's going to roll me through, right? All I want to do is lift my leg until he puts his hand on the mat. And I want to put his elbow on the mat. And I want to drive him down to the mat. I want to resist the urge. You know, like we say wing ding. You don't want to wing ding there if you're wrestling folk style or even grappling because you're in like half guard, easy underhook. Just gently ride it down, right? If you're wrestling international style or judo or anything like that where it's rewarded for exposure, then wing ding, throw as hard as you want. But if you're looking to keep the top position, facing this side, big step, he steps out, back step, and stop. All right, I want to make sure I really make him step out. I want to step all the way around on my Polish, pinch in tight, so he steps out. Now I can't Uchimata here, I got a back step. All right, as soon as I back step, big post. If he turns into me, turn his head away from your hips. All right, very effective use of your feet is when he's not thinking it's coming, right? And a lot of times that could be off of a basic slide by or drag, you know, or over tie, right? A normal over tie would be if he's collar tying me up and I come over to the over tie. And I like to rest my temple right next to his temple. And that lets me feel where he's at, right? And if I want to trip off of it, sometimes you could keep your hand in here too. And I just step outside his foot, I'm going to pull it down to the mat. Right, that's a normal over tie. You see it to a single leg, you'll see it to the body. Very effective hold is tripping that leg because you know it'll be there. Right, so all I'm doing is I'm holding my over tie real tight, pinching my elbows real tight. Feel a little pressure into me, I'm just gonna take it off. Now, you could trip right away, or you could just see how he circles out. If he circles out, just trade him, and then your trip's gonna be there. All right, so there's no rules to it. A lot of times, I never was really, I've seen guys do it before where they just went whoop, and the guy's horizontal, boop. Don't take much effort. A lot of times I hit it in live is when I'm kind of chasing my over tie. So as he pushes in, I'm just gonna wait to see which way he circled, that's it. And he's worried about me going here, right? He wants to take his back away from me. Like he's worried about me getting to this position, right? And that's why a trip is real effective here. He's not thinking about that as much as this, all right? So as he starts circling away, that's what I'm looking for, that trip. All right, I'm using my over tie and reaping that leg. Just like that. All right, we don't have to go right away. We can stay in here, push. Once we're ready to go, see, I didn't get it. I gotta clear this from the over tie. All right, if he's on me here, then I gotta go into something else. All right, whatever it is. But I gotta clear this to hit an over tie trip. So gotta really make sure that I break tie. And as he starts circling, there's my trip. All right, a real good time to trip, just like that over tie, is off your slide by, or anytime he's defending his back to me. So we'll do it off a slide by, he's pushing in. My normal slide by, right, I check my watch, I pivot, and he comes by me. And if I get it, that's even better. But a lot of times after we get to this slide by, his natural reaction is to circle away from me. And I'm gonna chase this. I really want him to be moving, and it's very easy for me to clip that foot. Sometimes we'll foot sweep him to his back, sometimes we'll foot sweep him to his butt, or sometimes we'll just wind up finishing the slide by because he had to stumble over it a little bit, right? Any slide by this will work with, right? It'll work with this one, however you normally do your slide by, right? As he starts circling away from me, I'm gonna make him run into my foot, right? Just like all those foot sweeps, we wanna be thinking about something else. So he's thinking about me on his back, right? And he's circling away. He's not thinking that he's running into that trip. That's what makes it work. Right. If you're this side by, it's the same thing. All I'm doing is taking this collar tie to this side. If I could get to it, that's even better, right? But if you start circling out, I know a trip's coming. We do the same thing from an arm drag, right? Ready? My arm drag, you start circling away from me, I know trip's coming, right? A very effective tool of this, a foot sweep becomes a third attack. So if I show single, he reacts, I go arm drag, there's my trip. Sometimes I foot sweep him to his back, sometimes I just wind up finishing the arm drag because he stumbles. All right, put weight on him, head on one side, feet on the other.